They'd call me back. Within 20 minutes they called me back and said that they did have the legal authority, and the very next day I had the official complaints form for the Ombudsman. Paul McGinity has been given a copy of that complaint, and the politicians, I'll see you after, because I'd like to give you a copy of the complaint, because I want something done with it. I don't want it to be duck shut. There's more to this whole situation than Paul McGinity's competence.
It's vendetta.
On the bowels of the barn.
Here about 3 weeks ago, I had a fall with you at work.
Speak right up.
Sorry, speaking between the bars. I had a fall here at work about 3 weeks ago and banged up my arm a little bit. Didn't think anything of it. You know, I thought it was okay. When I went home, it's like, oh no, you've got to go to the doctor because it was a bit swollen. And anyway, my sister called the doctor. Now, I don't normally go to Dr McGinity. Nothing against Dr McGinity. I've just always been at the other clinic ever since it was built. Anyway, my sister called Dr McGinity and he said, be at my surgery in 10 minutes. Now, this is like 10:30 at night on a Saturday night. And I went to the surgery and he was there waiting for me. He x-rayed my arm, he checked me all over, done a thorough job, absolutely brilliant. And I think he's a really good doctor and they should back off and leave him alone.
Right, if there's no further comment, sorry, I'm trying to shut you down. And just who does want to make a comment? So I can get 1, 2, yeah. Okay. Joe.
Joan Blackwell from Bridport. In 2007, my husband collapsed in the street at Bridport, and he wasn't Dr McGinity's patient at the time. He certainly has been for a long time now. But someone called Dr McGinity, and I'm quite sure he saved my husband's life because he was blue when he got there. Now, how many other doctors would go to somebody else's patient? No. We just can't speak highly enough for him, and I think he deserves nothing under an OBE.
Exactly.
I'm another one that, like Noel, that was taken up to the North East Soldiers Memorial Hospital in the ambulance to go right through to Launceston. 3.5 hours later, after a whole lot of paperwork and the doctor couldn't find this and that to get me ready in the ambulance and that. 3.5 hours later I went through to Launceston after Dr McGinity had saved my life during the days as well.
Just one instance among many, Dr McGinity has come to our home to assist us over the years. This is just a light-hearted one. My son rang him one night because his daughter was having an asthma attack, and he said, hang on a minute till I get my pants on and I'll be there. My mother was having an angioplasty in Hobart. We had it that day, and my dad had a heart attack. So the next day I rushed Mum home to get Dad to take him to the LGH, etc, etc. I got back about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Who should be just cruising by, still doing house calls. True. Just saw the lights on and knew that Mum was coming home and just popped in to see whether she was all right. Who would it be? Dr McGinity!
I think Joan mentioned OBE, but just prior to that, I'd come to the conclusion, one way this community might be able to stick it right up those bureaucrats. When we find the appropriate award, whether it be OBE, whether it be Order of Australia, and I believe others might want to research it, and I hope Kevin and Yasmin might want to take this thought further.
Well, you sure will.
There's I think blue there is a medal called the Weary Dunlop Medal for medical services above and beyond the duty. Now, while we're all in the room, we're all feeling good, we're fired up, we're angry.
Yes, we
Ticked
are
off.
angry.
Some of us might use other words, stronger. But all I'm asking you is, if you see an ad in the paper or a thing for the nomination of, get out there, get the numbers, and let's stick it up. And not only stick it up, and it's because obviously Dr Paul deserves it.
You mentioned a while ago that there may be a hidden agenda, and I saw your office was yesterday trying to help with it. We know that the strategies for area health areas is going to come in this year. That means the Launceston General Hospital will control this northern region. Mr. Kerwin will control the northern region. That will take it away from the primary health people such as Pip Leader. Now that will be restoring the hospital with something that Paul would like, because he would be dealing with the medical professionals at the Launceston General Hospital, the specialists, and that's what he should be entitled to. Now it's 90% completed for the northwest coast, and because Mr. Kerwin has been very heavily involved with the structure of A&E at the Launceston General, it seems to be there by the end of June. It won't go in the south because they haven't got a CO appointed until the end of the year. But the other important thing, I don't know whether you've heard about this, and Yasmin and her contemporary committee may know about it, a Gemini's facility, and I don't know whether you've heard about that, Sue. Well, and that is, you can inquire in Parliament next week about it, Kim and Sue, is that an area of land in front of the North Eastern Soldiers Memorial Hospital will be set aside for this Gemini facility, and that is where it'll be a group of GPs. Now, when you look at this situation, Phil Edmondson, the GP of GP North, came out and saw Paul a few months ago and asked him about this sort of facility. Paul didn't object to it. But then read between the lines, we can see why now they want this facility. Because it's not viable without Paul McGinity's patients. So there's a hidden agenda. So this is what we should know about. It gives it to our politicians here to take it to Hobart. Ask the Minister what is going on about this Gemini facility at Scottsdale.
And then we'll go on to the motion.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
Can we have that explained? Because we don't know what he's talking about with the Gemini thing.
Okay. Layman's language. The government dudes reckon they're going to whack a facility in front of the NESM, right? And basically have a doctor's surgery up there. As it stands, without Dr Paul's patients, it would not be commercially viable for them. So what do? They want to get rid of Dr Paul so they can have his patients.
If you take a vote and ask, if I take ill tonight, don't take me near the hospital. If I can't go to Launceston, let me die.
I'll get that right. Yes, Jasmine.
I've listened to stories here tonight, and you know, as I said, if anybody has a grievances, they need to fill out these forms. Every one of you feels they've been emotionally harmed by Dr McGinity being suspended. We need to fill out these forms. I walked for about 5 hours getting people to sign petitions, door knocking, and the stories that I heard was unbelievable. And the stories that they told me, how they've come from one surgery to Dr McGinity and what went on. These people need to put this forward and complain to him.